Richmond has hit an alarming milestone. The city has now had more murders this year than in the past 15 years, and there's still more than a month left in 2021.
That new data from the Richmond Police Department is heightening safety concerns for the city. 8 News reporter Olivia Jakewood spoke with local leaders about the trend and the reasons behind it. Olivia.
Eric, Deanna, a spokesperson with RPD tells me that although we haven't reached the number of homicides this year above that 100 mark like what we saw in the 90s, she says the city is still very much headed in the wrong direction. Now, she says there is something to be learned from the declining crime rates that followed about a decade and a half ago, but that the approach needed to address this violence now is also quite a bit different.
From the East End to Shockoe Bottom to the Whitcomb area, the number of murders in the city of Richmond is the highest it's been in 15 years.
If you can't feel safe going to OMG convenience store, if you can't feel safe walking to your school, if you can't feel safe driving down the street, our city has a bigger problem than we know.
Since the beginning of the year, there have been 72 homicides in the city, up 20% from this time last year. Richmond Commonwealth's attorney Colette McKeachin saying each death is a huge burden to the families left grieving as well as law enforcement in the city.
This is not just a name, this is not just a body, this is a person who's been taken from the community in a horrible manner and for whom justice needs to be sought.
Earlier this year, when the death toll reached 23, Mayor LeVar Stoney and Richmond City Council declared gun violence a public health crisis. Since then, there have been 49 more people killed in the city. McKeachin and Richmond Police Chief Gerald Smith both noting many times children are on both sides of the gun.
The ones that this is affecting are young people. They're the ones committing these acts, and they're the ones being affected by these acts. And that's who we need to engage.
That's something that I think can be attributed to COVID, to the fact that they're not in school, to the fact that their lives were upended as juveniles.
So what's the solution? Well, RPD tells me that there is not really any one answer. While they can always use more staffing, and McKeachin confirmed this is true for her office as well, RPD tells me that it's more about partnerships and working with the community to address so much of the change we've all faced over the course of the pandemic. Live in Richmond tonight, Olivia Jakewood, 8 News.